Okay, Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone for our Tuesday evening Bhagavad Gita class. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarine Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyeshwaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So last time we were talking about Bhagavad Gita introduction, and we will start with Bhagavad Gita chapter 1 today. So Bhagavad Gita, as we know, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is unlimited, and really speaking, it requires unlimited intelligence to understand this unlimited knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. But with our limited understanding, limited intelligence, will try to understand whatever little possible and try to draw some practical connections from the message of Bhagavad Gita. The chapter of Bhagavad Gita is basically, every chapter is titled as yoga, right? The first chapter is titled as Arjuna Vishad Yoga, lamentation of Arjuna, how it led to connecting with the Supreme. The first chapter also is titled as Observing the Armies on the Battlefield of Kurukshetra, Sainya Nirakshan Yoga. So observing the armies on the battlefield and also Arjuna Vishad. So these are two sections of first chapter of Bhagavad Gita actually. So if we go over little overview of first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, what is all included in first chapter, we will try to understand the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita with one word, doubt, okay, by using that acronym. So hopefully everybody can see my screen. So observing the armies on the battlefield, Arjuna Vishad Yoga, understand it by the word doubt, D-O-U-B-T. This is the overall flow of the first chapter. So first 11 verses, they are talking about Dhritrastra and Duryodhana. Basically the half chapter, first 27 verses are observing the army. Dhritrashtra speak the first verse, and then Duryodhana is speaking with Guru Dronacharya, describing the situation of army on his side and on the side of Pandavas. So that is kind of observing the army. And then verse number 12 to 20, it talk about various omens which are indicating the victory of Pandavas. Even though the war, before the war has started, it already indicate who is going to be victorious in this war. And then 21 through 27, unfailing mercy of Krishna. Krishna is known as Bhaktavatsala. So the mercy of Krishna on his devotee. Then 28 through 46 is Arjuna's lamentation. Arjuna Vishad. Arjuna is bewildered. Arjuna speak to Krishna, please take my chariot in the middle of both armies so I can observe both armies who are assembled here to participate in this war. And as Krishna takes the chariot in the middle of the army, seeing the people who are on the other side, his Pitama Bhishma, Guru Dronacharya, Kripacharya, and all the other friends and relatives, Arjuna becomes bewildered. And that is a turning point, right? Tragic response of Arjuna. He gives various reasons why he does not want to fight. So some of the reason is he's showing compassion towards his friends and family. He is talking about the loss of happiness. He is talking about the fear of sinful reaction. And then he's talking about loss of the family traditions. And then finally, in the beginning of second chapter, Arjuna will give his last reason as indecision. He's not able to decide what he should do, whether he should fight or give up the fight. What is best for him, he doesn't understand. So in that way, Arjuna is giving various reasons why he does not want to fight this war. So the first verse starts with Dhritrastra Uvacha. Now, even though we may say that the whole Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Krishna, right? Then the question may come, then what it has to do with Arjuna's lamentation? Doesn't Bhagavad Gita mean Krishna spoke, Bhagwan Uvacha? But we need to understand that for any activity to happen, for any kriya to happen, there is Purva Kriya. Right? There is some other set of activity which lead to the main activity. For example, when we want to perform any yajna, for the yajna to happen, there is first the arrangement of yajna. So same way for Krishna to speak this Bhagavad Gita, before Sri Bhagwan Uvacha comes in Bhagavad Gita, there has to be Arjuna Uvacha. So that's why Arjuna is put into this confusion. He is put into this lamentation. So Krishna can speak this message of Bhagavad Gita, not just to derive the lamentation of Arjuna, but for all of us. So that is the overall overview of this first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So it starts with Dhritarashtra's speaking to Sanjay. And then ultimately Sanjay is narrating the whole instance, what is happening on the battlefield of Kurukshetra to Dhritarashtra. So the first verse, Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavah Mamakah Pandavascheva Kim Kurvatah Sanjaya. So Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre, on the holy place of Kurukshetra, on the religious place of Kurukshetra, what did my sons, Mamakah, Pandavascheva, and the sons of Pandu, what did they do, O Sanjay, who have assembled there for the desire to fight? Samaveta Yuyutsavaha. So the first 11 verses, which we will try to cover today. So we'll go a little faster on this. We'll not go like too much detail of each and every verse. We'll try to cover multiple verses in one session and try to understand the connection, the overall flow, and what are the lessons to learn. So here, what is Dhritarashtra speaking? He first of all separated the sons of Pandu, calling out his sons as Kuru, Mamakaha, my sons who are the Kauravas, and then Pandavas, the sons of Pandu. So he separated the son of Pandu from the Kuru dynasty. Ultimately, both come under the dynasty of Kuru Vansha. But Dhritarashtra here, because he is physically blind and he is spiritually blind also. So same way his sons, Duryodhana and all other 99, they were also spiritually blind. Dhritarashtra's attachment is so strong, even though the astrologers came and they did the forecast about the war, that all your sons will be killed. Still, Dhritrashtra is not able to make the right decision. He is not able to go against the will of Duryodhana. He is still thinking, Dhritarashtra is still thinking, maybe still there is a chance that the kingdom will be ours, kingdom will be mine, and kingdom will be for my own sons. Because he's so attached with his kingdom, with this kingdom of Hastinapura, and he is so attached to Duryodhana, he is not able to make a right decision. And here, if we really see, actually, this is the first instance of nepotism in the history. In recent scenario, people talk about nepotism. Nepotism in Bollywood, nepotism in our current politics. Right? The one political party, they want to have their children be in the politics, their children become the prime minister, the chief minister. So this nepotism is talked about very often these days. But here in Mahabharat, in the case of Dhritarashtra, we see a strong instance of nepotism. And the right intelligence is when we work with this WRT principle. What is this WRT principle? Acting wisely, rightly, and timely. So Dhritarashtra should have acted based on some intelligence in a righteous way, on a timely manner. So he should have made some deal with the Pandavas. Right? He should have told Duryodhana, why you want this kingdom? You want to gain wealth, you want to enjoy, you want to have your sense enjoyment, you want to have fun, you want to relax. So you want all these things, so we can make arrangement for all that. Let the Pandavas rule, and we can make a deal, we can strike a deal with them that they will give a share in the property. And Yudhishthira is such a righteous person, he's so duty bound, he will give you your proper due share without even asking. So let the competent person take over. But he did not act wisely. He did not act in a righteous way, in a timely manner. And what happened in current world also, that's the same problem we see all around. Either it's a business world, it's a family relations, right? All the big companies, what is happening there? People want their children, their sons, grandsons to take over their business, take over their companies, to become the next CEO, to become the next director or the vice president. So what happened in that scenario? They don't want the competent person to come and take over that so that the business can run properly. But they want their own children to take those esteemed positions who do not know anything, who do not have the competency, right competency. So actually, what we should learn is, what we should think is, well, you want to gain money, enjoyment, relax. Yes, let the competent person take over the business and make money for you. Actually, if you see why Dubai is successful, why Dubai is having so much of opulence, all the sheikh are having so much wealth, is it run on this principle. Right? They let other people come, run the businesses, run the different part of their economy, and they take royalty share in that. So people from America, from Europe, from other part of the world, they go and do business there and pay some percentage to the sheikh. So rather than having we all ourselves getting our nose into that business, let the competent person run and give us the money, give us the wealth. So that is the principle here which Dhritarashtra should have thought. Let Yudhishthira and Pandavas, who are competent in ruling over the kingdom, let them rule. So in the politics also, in current world scenario, what we see in, let's say, in India's politics, right, in the parliament, if you see most of the MPs or somebody, MLAs who are under the age of 30 or 40 years, they are coming because of some family political background. their forefather, they were in politics, and they also choose to come in politics, even though they may not have any knowledge of politics. But just because their grandfather were in politics, they are just using that ticket, not because they have the actual merit. And same way, in some spiritual organization, in some ashram, if we see this nepotism enter into that, they say, okay, my son will become the next acharya, right? He will become the next mathadhish. So in that way, they want to take over the charge of the temple or any matha or something. Anything which is done based on bias, which is based on favoritism, that is another name of nepotism. But in some countries, some part of the world, who purely work based on merit. So they have meritocracy, not nepotism. For example, Singapore. I heard in Singapore, if you are qualified, you will be moved forward. And that's why in 10 or 12 parameters, Singapore is in top 3 countries. Because anybody who is really having the merit, he has a good potential there. Why people come to USA from India, leaving India and coming to USA? Because USA is considered as a land of opportunity. Here, somebody who is willing to work, who has some ability, who has some merit, they can make their future. So, and that's why in so many companies also, they also followed the same Dhritrastra mentality, and they were not able to succeed because they were having this separation mentality. As Dhritrashtra is saying here, Mamakah Pandavascheva, my sons and the sons of Pandu, separating that family lineage. When that separation happens, when everybody is not kept together, that led to the downfall of any business empire also. Now, all of you may be familiar with these two very famous brands actually. One is Dabur, another one is Vrindanath. Okay, everybody may have heard about that, right? So in the TV, on the TV now, you may see the ad of Dabur Chyawanprash. But do we see the ad of Vrindanath Chyawanprash? Because Dabur, what did it do? It kept everything together. It kept the whole family, that business empire together. Whereas Vrindanath, it's separated. They have 5 different branches, one in Kanpur, one in Calcutta, and some other places like that. So different descendants of that family lineage, they just made their own separate branches. Now everybody is concerned about their own thing. They don't work collectively. So if everybody is working as a separate unit, not working as a collective unit, not working as a team player, then what happened? Then they cannot succeed. So for example, in case of Vaidyanath, now they have these 5 different branches. So that's thinking about Mamaka Kanpur eva, Mamaka Kolkata eva, right? So everybody is thinking that, oh, this is that branch, this is that branch, and nobody does their advertisement, thinking if I do advertisement on the name of Vaidyanath, advertisement is done by the Calcutta branch, so the other branch will get benefit. So that is kind of a separatism mentality which spoils their own future. So here also, what we learn from this particular instance, Dhritrashtra, he himself became the cause of destruction of his own family, his own children. It was not illegal that Dhritrashtra wanted his son to become the king. It's not illegal, but it's not intellectually right also. Because Duryodhana was not fit to become the king, even though all his ministers like Vidura, right? Vidura instructed Dhritrashtra that don't try to put your son on the throne. He will destroy everything. Bhishma Pitama also instructed Dhritrashtra in that way. But so Duryodhana was not fit to become the king, even though he was very motivated. Yes, I want to rule over the kingdom. I want to become the king. But is being motivated enough? These days, people may say, oh, I am very motivated to do this task. If you are really motivated to do something, is it all right for that person to let him do anything? Is that right or wrong? So question to all of you, if somebody is very motivated to do something, is it okay to allow him to do anything?
No.
No, Prabhuji.
No, Prabhuji.
No. So the reason is because even though he is very motivated, but he is not qualified. For example, I may say, oh, I'm very motivated to fly the aeroplane. So everybody please come and sit. I'm going to fly the plane today. I'm very motivated to fly. So should I really fly the plane? Will you all come and sit in that plane? No, because to do anything, it requires three things: the proper attitude, the proper knowledge, and having the skill set. So if somebody is not having one of these also, he's not fit to perform that task. Right? First of all, that right attitude should be there, and then knowledge, and then skill set should be there. So Dhritrashtra, even though he knew that Duryodhana does not have the proper skill set, he is lacking that skill set to be the king. Still, he was so bent upon for making Duryodhana as the king. So his weakness of heart and his wickedness, that led to the destruction, that led to the killing of all of his own sons in this war of Kurukshetra, in this war of Mahabharata. So weakness plus wickedness is equal to game over. And there are so many companies also who, being in the Fortune 500 companies in mid 1950s, by the end of 2000, 98% of these companies were gone, finished, because they did not adapt based on the time, place, and circumstances. So here, Dhritrashtra mentality is demonstrated. His weakness and wickedness led to this war of Kurukshetra and the destruction of his own sons. And the question which Dhritrashtra is asking here is a very peculiar question. He's asking Sanjay, tell me what happened after they assembled for that war. Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samavetah Yuyutsava Mamakah Pandavascheva Kim Kurvatah Sanjaya. What did they do after they assembled in this war field? Now, what kind of question is this? Somebody will ask that kind of question only if the set of sequence of event is doubtful. Because Dhritarashtra was fearful of the effect of this place. This place is a religious place. So he was afraid what will be the effect of that place. Kshetra means field where the cultivation takes place, and dharma means religion where dharma will be cultivated. And his sons, they are adharmic, right? They are irreligious in that way. So here dharma is going to be cultivated. So what will happen to his sons? Now, why this land of Kurukshetra is called as Dharmakshetra, there is a whole history behind that. Maharaj King Kuru, he has performed cultivation of virtues on this land. And ultimately, finally, he had got the boon that anybody who dies in this land, either performing the panis or while fighting, he will attain to heaven, he will attain to Swarga. So King Kuru, he cultivated the virtues here in this land. And then Parshuram, Lord Parshuram also performed penances in this place. And then Lord Krishna is now personally present here. So this place is known as Dharmakshetra, where cultivation of dharma will take place. And all his sons, which are like the weed, when the cultivation of any farm take place, when a farmer is plowing the land or cultivating that land, when they plant any seeds, if there are any weeds growing up, they will remove that weed. So same way here, dharma is going to be cultivated, and the weed in the form of his sons will be uprooted. And in one way, it is announcing the result of the war also, right? Because dharma is going to be established. So now here, after saying this, Sanjay now starts telling what is happening there on the war field. So second verse, Sanjay uvacha drishtvam tu panduvanikam vyudham Duryodhanastada acharyam upasangamya raja vachnam abrabit. Sanjay said, O king, after looking over the army arranged in the military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and spoke the following words. So Sanjay is describing to Dhritrashtra further that after seeing the army of the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana, Raja, King Duryodhana went to his teacher. Who is the teacher? Dronacharya. So he went to his teacher. Now here, whole military arrangement, how it is that the Kauravas army on one side is standing in their particular military arrangement, and the army of Pandavas is standing in their military arrangement. The Kauravas have 11 Akshuni Sena and Pandavas have 7 Akshuni Sena. So 7, 11. Now here Duryodhana is referred as a king. He is not actually king, but then why he is being referred here as king? Because Duryodhana, even though he is not king, he is representing the king, Dhritrashtra, who is the acting king right now. And overall, moreover, Duryodhana is very good at Rajaniti, diplomacy. क्योंकि वो राजनीति में इतना उत्कृष्ट है, that's why he is being referred here as Raja. And even before the war had started, Bhishma was appointed as the commander-in-chief, right? The Senapati. And Duryodhana, he should have gone to Bhishma to report out anything. But rather than going to Bhishma, Duryodhana is going to Drona to report all this matter. Because he thought Drona is the guru and he is the Brahmana also. So Bhishma may not mind me going to Drona for any consultation. And moreover, why he wanted to go to Drona, which is now coming in the next verse. Actually, Duryodhana wanted to point out the fault of Dronacharya. He wanted to make some sarcastic comment on Dronacharya. That is the reason he is going to Dronacharya. So that is coming in the third verse. Why Duryodhana went to Drona. Pashyetam Pandu Putranam Acharyam Mahati Chamum Vyudham Drupad Putrena Tava Shishyena Dhimatah. Duryodhana is speaking to Drona. O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligence disciple, the son of Drupada. So here, first of all, a little history. Drupad and Dronacharya, they were actually friends in their childhood. They studied in the same Gurukul. And at that time, Drupad made friendship with Dronacharya. And after finishing the study in Gurukul, Drupad was going to become the king. And he told Dronacharya that if you need anything, you can approach me. You are my friend. So later on, Dronacharya, once he had approached Drupad for some financial help, and Drupad even denied to accept him as his friend. He said, you are just a small Brahmana and I am the king, I am the Kshatriya. There is no match. How can we be friends? If you want any charity, then you just come as a beggar and take charity from me. But don't come on the name of friend and ask for help in that sense. So Dronacharya became very angry and he was holding on to that grudge against Drupad, looking for the right opportunity to take revenge against Drupad. So when Dronacharya had trained Pandavas and Kauravas, he had sent one by one. First, he sent the Duryodhana and all the brothers to defeat Drupad and bind him and bring in front of Dronacharya. And Duryodhana went just thinking, we are 100 brothers and who is this Drupad in front of us? We will easily defeat him, bind him, and bring in front of Drona. But ultimately they were defeated. And then Dronacharya sent Pandavas, 5 brothers. They, 5 brothers by themselves went. They defeated Drupad, bound Drupad, and brought him in front of Dronacharya. At that time, Dronacharya told Drupad, see, now I have defeated you. Your kingdom is my kingdom. But I had accepted you as my friend, so I will give you half the kingdom back. So he kept half kingdom of Drupad and returned half of the kingdom to Drupad back. So Drupad also now holding on to this grudge. He wanted a son, because Drupad did not had any Kshatriya son who could defeat, who could participate in war on behalf of Drupad. So Drupad performed a yajna with a desire to acquire a son who could defeat Dronacharya. And from that yajna, Draupadi was born, and then Dhrishtadyumna was born. So this is the son Dhrishtadyumna, which is mentioned here in this verse. Dronacharya sent Dhrishtadyumna actually for training to Dronacharya, that you go to Dronacharya and learn from him. And Dronacharya, as a Brahmana, whoever came to him for education, he did not deny. He gave the education. Anybody belonging to a royal family, Dronacharya did not deny giving education. So Dronacharya trained son of Drupad, Dhrishtadyumna, also in the military skills. And now this is what Duryodhana is pointing out here, that behold this great army of the sons of Pandu, because the army of Pandu was led by Dhrishtadyumna. He was made in the commander-in-chief of Pandava's army. So it was all arranged by him. So he is sarcastically telling Dronacharya, see what you had done. You had given education to him, and now he has arranged all this military against us. So to invoke Dronacharya's anger, he is reminding of his enemy, so that Dronacharya will fight with all vigor. He is also kind of impaling this message. That implied message is, don't be soft-hearted now. On the other side, your favorite disciple Arjuna is also there. So now you have to fight full-hearted. So here Dronacharya, Duryodhana is kind of ridiculing and being sarcastic to Dronacharya. See, as a disciple, Dronacharya, being the guru of Duryodhana, as a disciple, Duryodhana should have gone to Dronacharya and should have asked him, please tell me, what should I do in this situation? You had trained Dhrishtadyumna. You will know what is his weakness. Maybe he had missed something to learn from you. So please tell me what is his weakness is, what is their strength is, so I can plan accordingly now. Whatever has happened in the past has happened. Now we want to look further and see how we want to act now to gain victory. So please tell me, what are their weaknesses, what are their strengths. Let me analyze what are my weaknesses, what are my strengths, and focus on what should be done. Right? This is what happened in the real world also, either in as a business alliances in the companies or as a team, what we want to act. People focus too much on pointing the fault of other. See, this is what you had done wrong in the beginning of the project. That's why the whole project got messed up. That's why the whole project was not able to succeed. Because we are focusing so much on pointing at the fault, at the mistake of others, rather than taking our own responsibility of our own actions. So that's why Chanakya Pandit also, actually what he says is, don't let anybody know your weaknesses. You want to understand the weakness of your opponent, but don't let anybody know your weaknesses. So Duryodhana, he had his weaknesses, which is open to everybody. And rather than understanding what are the weakness of other, he is just pointing fault at his own team members. He's pointing fault at his own guru. So this is what Duryodhana is doing here. And then Duryodhana start telling who are all the different people on the other side of the Pandavas. Because for Duryodhana, Bhima and Arjuna, they are the most formidable enemies, right? All if he is concerned about somebody is Bhima and Arjuna. Rest anything, anybody he is not concerned about. This Dhritrastra and other they are no big deal for him. So Duryodhana was thinking Dronacharya may say, oh, Dhritrastra is not such a big fighter. So that's why now Duryodhana start telling all other warriors on the sides of Pandavas so that Dronacharya will not leave any soft corner for his own disciple, favorite disciple Arjuna. So he counts the name of all the people who have assembled on the side of the Pandavas. So text number 4, 5, 6, it's talking about all the different people who have assembled on the sides of the Pandavas. So he says, Yuyudhana. Yuyudhana is Satyaki. Satyaki is from Krishna's side. Satyaki chose to be on the side of Pandavas, even though all the army, Krishna's army was given to Duryodhana. But Krishna came himself empty-handed on the side of Pandava, being as a chariot driver for Arjuna, and he gave all his Narayani Sena to Duryodhana. But Satyaki, he chose to be on the side of Pandavas. So Yuyudhana refer to Satyaki. And then Virata. Virata is the king of Virata, father of Uttara, who was married to Abhimanyu. So Virata, then Raja Drupad, that is father-in-law of Arjuna, father of Draupadi. Drishtaketu. Drishtaketu is king of Chedi. He is the son of Shishupal. Shishupal was killed by Krishna, who was envious of Krishna, and his son Drishtaketu, now he had made alliances with Pandavas. And he also happens to be brother-in-law of Nakula. So next is Chekitan. Chekitan is son of Drishtaketu. So Shishupal's grandson in one sense. So Chekitan. Then Kashiraj. Kashiraj is king of Kashi. He is just a friend of Pandavas who is fighting on the side of Pandavas. Purujit. He is the maternal uncle of Arjuna. He is Kunti's stepbrother. Then Kunti Bhoja. Kunti Bhoja is father of Kunti, basically adopted father of Kunti, who had adopted Kunti. Shebya, king of Shibi dynasty, not related to Arjuna, but just as ally of Pandavas. Then Yudhamanyu, he is relative of Dhritrastra, Arjuna's brother-in-law. Then Uttamoja, he is brother of Yudhamanyu. So, and then many other who have assembled on the side of Pandavas. So this is what Dronacharya is listening from Duryodhana. Right? Duryodhana is describing all this to Dronacharya that, see, your intelligent disciple Drishtadyumna had arranged all this military and all these various people have assembled on the side of Pandavas. So in 2 verses, he explained the army of Pandavas. Now verse 7 to 10 are really amazing. In one sense, what Duryodhana is doing now, he is speaking his own glories. Now Duryodhana starts speaking about his own strength to Dronacharya. Now look at my strength. Now look at all the people who are on my side, who are ready to lay down their lives for me. They are willing to do anything for my sake. So Duryodhana is now starting to speak all that to Dronacharya. So verse number 7, very important, talking about Duryodhana mentality, Duryodhana syndrome. Asmakam tu vishishtaye tani bodha dvijottama nayakamam senyasya sangyartham tan brabhimite. Now, but for your information, O best of Brahmanas, Dvijottama, right? Dvija is Brahmana, Uttama, best. So best among the Brahmanas. Let me tell you about the captains who have specially qualified to lead my military forces. नायका, कौन कौन से नायक मेरी तरफ से युद्ध करने के लिए इकट्ठे हुए हैं? नायका मम सैन्यस्य संज्ञार्थम तान भ्रमीमिते. Now I will explain to you. So he is speaking with so much pride. See, pride of Duryodhana is what he is talking to his guru, who is best among the Brahmanas, but still he is saying, listen to me. मेरी बात सुनो. क्या तुम मुझे हल्के में ले रहे हो? क्या तुम you don't understand who am I? So now you listen to me. I am such a great leader. I am such a great soldier. Please take note of this. So he is talking to the most intelligent person. Right? Dronacharya, he himself is saying, you are the best among the Brahmanas, but still he's saying, listen to me. I am more intelligent. So he is trying to glorify himself. He has the desire to take the credit. And Duryodhana, he is suffering with this extremely controlling and dominating mentality. He thinking, I am in power and I cannot make mistake. Like what Krishna says further on in Bhagavad Gita, Ahankar vimudhatma karta ahamiti manyate. The person who is fool number one, he thinks I am the doer. So here Duryodhana, what he is thinking, that on my call, all these people have assembled here to fight on my behalf, and I am so great. He has not surrendered to his guru. He is instructing his own guru. So Duryodhana mentality, what is Duryodhana mentality is that I will give my opinion first. See, some people speak because they have something to say. They have some quality addition. But some people speak because they just have to say something. No matter what conversation is going, even though if it's the topic of their field or not, right? If they have some little knowledge of that field or not, but they just want to say something. जब तक मैं कुछ नहीं बोलूंगा तो ये टॉपिक पूरा कैसे हो सकता है? In every talk, they have to just put their nose inside. So this is what Duryodhana is doing here. He is telling you, listen to me, let me describe to you. You don't understand, let me explain to you. So Duryodhana start giving description of his own army. In one sense, he is giving description of his team. So he started telling his guru. So first of all, when you go to your guru, do you tell your guru or you ask from your guru? Right? What should be the duty of a disciple? When you go to your guru, should you be asking your guru or you should be telling guru? So it should be instructing the guru. So that was one of Duryodhana's mistake. He is telling the guru, he is instructing the guru. So what he start telling is now, first of all, he says, you are on my side, Bhavan. Word used, Bhavan is used respectfully. Yes, no doubt he is addressing Dronacharya respectfully. But what he is telling is that you are on my side. Now, isn't it some kind of joke? Doesn't Dronacharya know that, yes, I am on your side? On which side Dronacharya is? But Duryodhana mentions that you are on my side to provide him that you should not spare any pain on Pandava's side. And don't be lenient in fighting with the Pandavas, especially fighting with Arjuna. Because Dronacharya had not spoken anything earlier also in the assembly of Kauravas when Draupadi was dragged into that assembly and she was tried to be disrobed. At that time also Dronacharya has not said anything. So now also he is thinking that Dronacharya should not have any soft corner towards the Pandavas and fight with full vigor against the Pandavas. And then he's telling Karna is on my side. So he relied on Karna, even though right now Karna is not present on the battlefield. Right? He is on the side of Duryodhana, but right now he is not on the battlefield because Karna did not want to fight until Bhishma was there. Karna also had a too much of egoistic mentality or superiority complex. See, some people on the team, they don't want to perform well till they are not the leader. Right? They don't want to contribute because they think if we perform, if we do something, and the team leader will get the credit that, oh, the project was under this leader and the project was successful, so it's the credit of the team leader. So they don't want to perform well. That was Karna's mentality also. He did not want to fight in this war till Bhishma was there. He was thinking, if I'm participating in the war and if we win, Bhishma will take all the credit. He is the commander in chief. So that is the mentality of some people. They will act only if they are made the leader. So there were various encounters of Karna with Arjuna where he was defeated. Every time he got defeated, but still he had such a grudge against Arjuna. He wanted to defeat Arjuna. From the point of view of virtues, if we think Karna was a good person, he was very charitable person, but because he took to the bad association and he made many unwise decisions, unwise choices, and suffered because of that. He was also suffering with the mentality of being having too much attachment with Duryodhana. Oh, Duryodhana had done some favor towards me, now I have to pay back. So not making the right choices. And Duryodhana was a very opportunist politician. Duryodhana was, in one sense, personification of Kali, Adharma. Right? He was the personification of that. So Duryodhana is mentioning all these names to Dronacharya. He's saying, you, Dronacharya, you are on my side in my army. Karna, he is very powerful warrior. He is on my side. And then he mentions the name of Vikarna. Vikarna is one of his brother. But why he is mentioning the name of Vikarna? Because Vikarna was the only one who spoke against Duryodhana during Draupadi's Chirharan, during Draupadi's disrobing incident. Vikarna was the only one who said something. But now he is standing on his side on the battlefield. So that's why Duryodhana is mentioning. So he is also still standing on my side. He cannot leave me. So he's counting all these people who are ready to fight on his side. And he's telling this one very particular word used here is Samitim Manje. They are always victorious. All these people, they have participated in many wars and they have been always victorious. By this, Duryodhana is indicating, see, this is my team. In my team, every team member is so wonderful. They are always victorious. I am going to win this war because my team members always win. So once a winner, always a winner. That's his mentality. So Duryodhana syndrome, Duryodhana mentality is once a winner, always a winner, right? I don't have to do anything. I don't have to learn new skills. I don't have to pull up my act. I am very good. I am best among everybody. So because recently, if you won something, does that mean frequently you will win or always you will win? So recent event trap, right? That's called recent event trap. Won in the recent match, he start to think I will win in the next also. For example, if the India cricket team, if they win in the first in one match, and they become very overconfident and start thinking, oh, our victory is definite in the next match also. So that's a recent event trap. Or winning too much trap, right? That's another name, winning too much trap. If you won 2 times, 4 times, then one start thinking, oh, I'm always going to win. I will win next also. Or the perpetual winner bias. So many companies in the business world also fall into that trap. They did not adapt to the new trends. They did not explore the new territories, the new opportunities, and ultimately all those companies were lost, right? Some of the companies were in the top Fortune 500 companies, but they just completely went out of the business. For example, there's a company named Polaroid, Kodak, Xerox, because they did not adopt to the new market trend. They just thought, oh, we are making money, we developed this thing. For example, Xerox, right? They developed this Xerox machine and they did not venture into the digital media. They were thinking, oh, we invented this, we are making money, we are printing money, so we'll keep doing that. Ultimately what happened, there are new technologies were getting built, and these companies which just stuck with how they were doing their business, they did not made any improvements, any changes, so they also lost. So that is the recent event trap, or winning too much trap. Oh, we are doing good now, we'll keep doing good always. We are surviving now, we'll keep surviving always. So same with Duryodhana, he also did not try to understand what new alliances Pandavas have made, what new weapons Pandava have collected. Arjuna had gone to even Swargaloka to collect more and more weapons. He was in his own shallow well thinking, I am the best. Duryodhana was thinking, I am in the palace and I am doing my little practice of fighting with Gada. Pandavas, they are in the forest, they are just collecting the wood and all, they are trying to survive. See, I am better. What can they do against me? So he did not try to understand, he did not try to venture into the new areas. He was not trying to understand who can be better than me. He was always thinking, I am the big shot. So trying to understand here is, we are not trying to kind of put Duryodhana down or point out all his faults. What we are trying to do, what is the ultimate purpose of listening or reading all these verses of Bhagavad Gita, is not to put Duryodhana down or to blaspheme Duryodhana. Oh, see, now we understand how bad Duryodhana was. Hey, oh, Duryodhana was such a bad guy. No, it's not for that purpose. We want to understand, do we have that type of mentality also, right? Do we have Duryodhana type mentality? So in our spiritual practice also, sometimes these type of mentality may creep in. Oh, who can be better than me? I am the best. I am performing sadhana so wonderfully. I am making so many wonderful devotees. I brought so many people at the shelter of my guru. So in that way, that kind of mentality may creep in. I am the best. Who can be better than me? So here Duryodhana is doing self-glorification in front of his own guru, telling, see, look at my team. All these wonderful warriors, they are always the winner, and they are going to win this war also for me. And then in the next verse, he is telling, look at my team, they are ready to do anything for me. They will do what I say. Anye cha bahava shura mad arthe tyakt jivitah nana shastra praharana sarve yuddha visharadaha. Look at all my people, all the warriors who have assembled on my side. Mad arthe tyakt jivita. For my sake, they are ready to lay down their lives. Nana Shastra Praharana. They are equipped with many wonderful weapons. Sarve Yuddha Visharada. They are expert in the fighting skills. So he's saying there are so many warriors who are ready to lay their lives for me. In one sense, what it means is they all will die because of me, right? For my cause, I will be the cause of their death. Bhagavad Gita teaches us actually what to be done and what not to be done. Here, Duryodhana is doing too much of self-glorification. So we should understand what is the Duryodhana syndrome here. Duryodhana is saying, see, I will encroach upon Pandava's property. I have taken over their kingdom, and all these people, they are going to support me. They are going to die for my sake, to help me in my adharmic karya. So same way in the world also, there may be people, right, who encroach upon others' property, and they have so many people on their side, some politicians on their side, some big industrialists on their side, some big real estate people on their side, and they think, oh, who can do something against us? All these people are on my support. So Duryodhana is saying all these people are ready to lay down their lives for me. But in first place, one should ask why you want to put others into that trouble, into that inconvenience. Duryodhana is thinking it's all about me, what I want. And that's why it says pride comes before the fall down. Duryodhana has that lack of empathy towards others. He has a lack of compassion towards others. He is just using others for his benefit. If something good happen, that is to my credit, and if something wrong happen, then it's your fault. Right? That's Duryodhana mentality. That's why he went to Dronacharya to complain. See, your disciple has arranged this army of Pandavas, so that's your fault. If we win, that's my credit because I did so good. So Duryodhana is doing too much of this talk to provide some positive feedback or to give some positive input in that way, but they themselves, he himself is not able to receive any positive feedback. Right? That is another Duryodhana mentality. Such people are not able to take any positive feedback from other. They are not able to accept their own mistake. So in current situation also, current scenario also, we see many people are suffering from this Duryodhana type mentality, Duryodhana syndrome. They want to be in the spotlight. They want to prove themselves better than others. If I don't have power, they think I will be restless, right? They become restless if they don't have power. If they feel somebody is better than me, they feel restless. And he tells, see, my army, their strength is apraptyam, immeasurable, whereas the Pandava strength, that's praptyam, praptam, that is measurable. But Saraswati changes the meaning. Apraptam also means not sufficient, and prayaptam means sufficient. So in one sense, it's changing the meaning that Pandava's strength is prayaptam, it's sufficient. And my strength, even though all these warriors are on my side, I have 11 Akshini Sena, still my strength is insufficient, is not sufficient. So the first 10 verses we discussed here, briefly going over the flow, what Duryodhana is telling, and then from the next verse onwards, it started describing how the different warriors, they started blowing their conch shells, and what were the different symptoms which were indicating the victory of Pandavas. So we'll discuss from verse 10 or 11 onwards from the next session. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. If anybody has any questions, comments.
Krishna Prabhuji, just one quick question. A lot of the people who were inside of Duryodhana, there's no reference as to what was their I shouldn't say motivation, but their reason to be with him.
What were the reasons of them to be on the side of Duryodhana? So some of them were, let's say, Bhishma Pitama, Dronacharya, Kripacharya. They were on the side of Duryodhana out of obligation. Okay. For example, Bhishma. Bhishma had made a vow that I will always protect the throne of Hastinapur. Whoever is sitting on the throne of Hastinapur, I will protect them. I will see my father's image in them. So that's why, because now Dhritrastra is sitting on the throne of Hastinapur and Bhishma is obliged to be on the side of Dhritrashtra, and in that sense on the side of Duryodhana.
I was
And
referring to the others, the
so
Dronacharya's
many,
was the one known.
right? Many others are on the side of Duryodhana, being as relatives, his 100 brothers, right? First of all, 100 brothers of Duryodhana, and then their other relatives, in the sense in-laws. So just imagine 100 brothers and their wives, parents, or brothers, or somebody, all those being on the side of that. And some of them were brought by Duryodhana by kind of a hook or crook. For example, one Pandava's uncle, Madri Naresh.
Yeah.
So he was coming to be on the side of Pandavas, but Duryodhana made a plot to bring him on his side. So when he was coming on the way, Duryodhana made arrangement for his accommodation, his food, and all for his whole army, and did not inform that who had made this arrangement. So Madri Naresh was thinking that this whole arrangement is done by Pandavas, by Yudhishthira. But now later on, when he came to know, actually Duryodhana had made all that arrangement. Now he became indebted towards Duryodhana. That, tell me what I can do for you in reward for this, what arrangement you have done. So he said, now you fight on my side. So in that way, by some hook or crook, he made many alliances in that. We have brought many people on his side.
Thank you.
And then Krishna's army. Krishna gave his army to Duryodhana.
Yes. Yes, so Krishna's whole army was also on the side of Duryodhana. Army in the sense, all the soldiers, basically the whole big army. Because both Duryodhana and Arjuna had gone to Krishna for help. That this war is going to happen finally, so you please help. So at that time when Krishna saw, he saw Arjuna first and he asked that Arjuna should ask first. And Duryodhana said, no, I came first and I've been sitting here for so long. But then Krishna told, I saw Arjuna first, and anyways, Arjuna is younger than you, so he should ask first. Duryodhana was very afraid that what if Arjuna asked the whole army, then what is my purpose of coming here? But Arjuna did not ask for Krishna's army. Arjuna said, I want you to be on my side. And Duryodhana became very happy. And he said, okay, now if Arjuna want you, what can I say? I will just take your army then. So in that case, he took the whole army of Krishna. And Krishna had made a promise or made a vow that I will be not lifting any weapon. So I will be on your side, but I am not going to lift any weapon. But Arjuna still said, no, I don't need you. I did not came here to ask help from your army. I just came to take help from you. I want you to be my kind of mentor, my guide in this war. So you be my chariot driver and guide my chariot in this war.
Prabhuji, how much Akshayani Sena was there from Krishna's side, which was given to Kaura, Duryodhana?
I don't know exact number, how many Akshini Sena from Krishna's side was given to Duryodhana. But total, it says there were 11 Akshini Sena on the side of Kauravas in this war of Mahabharata, and 7 Akshini Sena on the side of Pandavas. And each Akshini Sena means some particular thousands of ground warriors, like who are walking, many particular hundreds of who are riding on the horses, some particular hundreds of soldier warriors who are riding on the elephants. In that way, that is called one Akshini.
Prabhuji, I just had one simple this one. Many times I've I just try to imagine, is it the best way, this whole Gita which was written, was this the best way to start the whole Gita, like on the army battle? And many times it does happen that yeah, it is the best way, like so what other ways could have this Gita been started?
Who are we to decide that? Vyasadeva has put, Krishna has spoken that. Who are we to challenge
No,
the
no.
intelligence of Krishna, how the flow of this Gita should have been? Or who are we to challenge the
Judging.
intelligence of Vyasadeva, that who has compiled this Bhagavad Gita, that the flow of Bhagavad Gita could have been something better than this? We have a very limited intelligence.
No,
With our
Prabhuji,
limited intelligence, we cannot even understand this unlimited Bhagavad Gita actually.
absolutely, absolutely. Every time we read, there's a new meaning. Always we get. I mean, I'm not saying the flow, Prabhuji. I'm telling
Mhm.
the start from the army, like
So
on
why
the.
Acharyas explain why Krishna chose to start Bhagavad Gita like that, by the Sainya Nirakshan, by the observing of the armies, or why Bhagavad Gita is spoken on the battlefield, just to indicate the importance of Bhagavad Gita. That in our life, sometimes we think we are too busy, right? We have too many important things to do. Now here, this war is going to happen, which is the matter of life and death for millions and millions of people. So what could be more important than that? And at that time, Krishna has spoken this message of Bhagavad Gita to guide the mankind. So it is just to draw this importance of Bhagavad Gita. It's such an important philosophy, it's such an important message that anything else can wait in front of that. Right? And then Sainya Nirakshan, the observing of armies, it is to indicate no matter how powerful somebody may be, right? No matter it's Bhishma or Drona or somebody, no matter how much powerful somebody is, but if they are on the side of adharma, they are going to be defeated, they are going to be destroyed. So that is another important aspect of this Sainya Nirakshan before this Bhagavad Gita is spoken. That's why the concluding verse of Bhagavad Gita, what is that? Sanjay is speaking, right? Wherever there is Dhanurdhar Arjuna, wherever is Yogeshwar Krishna, there is always going to be victory. So wherever
Prabhuji,
dharma is, the victory is going to be on that side.
Prabhuji, can I just to extend the same thing context, because it's so relevant in the current context. Now we had this the tensions on the border, wherein India and China, there's huge tensions which are going on, and I found that this context is something similar, wherein dharma adharma sort of a thing. And if you see that China has always been encroaching, and they have this expansionist policies, trying to take over more land by adharma, and they have well-laid policies, how to take over. There are a lot of theories, and we have the bad money and all. So in this war, we can try to correlate and see how in this situation they have been really in the before the battle begins. I mean, the pandemic has stuck them, and they're the adharma. I mean, the real effects of adharma is already started. Can we I mean, assume that this is some sort of a good example that which we can correlate with this?
Yeah, definitely. In the world, there are so many of instances like that, where there is always fight between dharma and adharma, good and bad. So eventually, the victory is on the side of dharma. On the short term, it may seem like, oh, adharma is winning, right? Somebody which is encroaching upon by unrighteous way, they may be gaining better control. For example, in the war of Mahabharata also, during these 18 days, there were many instances it appeared like the Kauravas are winning. Right? When the son of Arjuna, right, Abhimanyu was killed, that time it was victory on the side of adharma. So that was in a short term during the overall war. But ultimately what happened? Ultimately dharma wins. So same way also in this world scenario, we may see, now this is a constant war, right? And we may see sometime it may appear that adharma is gaining better control or they are winning over. But eventually somebody is on the path of dharma, somebody is fighting on righteous way or dealing with righteous way, they will emerge victorious. Right? And it's not the soldiers who are fighting, because scripture says somebody who is just doing their duty, they do not have to suffer the consequences of sins. It's the leaders who are giving the direction, who are giving the orders. They are the ones who are accountable for that. Any soldier who is just following the order of their superiority, their authority, they are just doing their duty. Right? It's the leader, it's the authority who have to suffer the consequences, who is making those orders, who are following adharma.
Prabhuji, what do you think about the fact that they say that everybody in Kurukshetra will go to heaven?
Right, so that is the significance of this land also, the land of Kurukshetra, because the boon was somebody who is engaging in performing any penances in that land, performing any religious austerities, or somebody engaged in war, right, at that field. They will go to heaven no matter what kind of sinful reaction they have or pious credit they have. So no matter of their sinful credit or pious credit, they will attain to heaven. That is the influence of the place itself. That's why this place is Dharmakshetra also and war field also. And another reason is because whoever dies in front of Krishna, right, because Lord Krishna is personally present in this war, and whoever gives up their life in front of Krishna, they will attain to heaven. They don't have to suffer the sinful consequences. So that's why even Duryodhana and all the other people on his side also, they attain to heaven.
So that's seems a bit twisted, even though if you followed adharma and you were bad, finally they were able to go to heaven.
That doesn't happen in a general scenario. Here in this particular scenario, because Lord Krishna is personally present, and somebody, if Krishna kills somebody also, right, we may say, oh, that person was such a sinful person, but still he also attained liberation. So then what is the difference in devotees versus these demons? Devotees also attained to Krishna's abode, and this demon, he was such a sinful person and he also attained liberation. So what is the difference? So there is still a difference, because first of all, Krishna is merciful to everybody, right? Krishna is not envious towards anybody. Krishna is embracing somebody or Krishna is slapping somebody. They both are for their good only. Krishna is kind to everybody. Now when Krishna kills somebody, they also attain liberation, but that liberation is like a particular type of mukti where they let's say we say there are 5 types of mukti, right? One type of mukti is they they go to the impersonal Brahman, the Brahma Jyoti. Another type of mukti is they go to the abode of Krishna, in the sense they attain the same planet as Krishna. One type of mukti is they receive the same form as Krishna. They receive the same opulences as Krishna. And they are engaging in the loving reciprocations with Krishna. So when any demon is killed by Krishna, even though they are so sinful, they are freed from all that sinful reaction. And they also go to the kind of a Shanta Rasa, neutrality. They don't have developed love for Krishna, but they have gone to the zero scale. From negative, they have gone to zero. They have not gone to positive yet. They still need to work to go on the positive side of the scale. But they go to the zero, the origin. Now from there, now they need to work towards developing that loving reciprocation toward Krishna.
So could it also be taken as whatever bad things that we have done, if we really understood and prayed to Krishna, that we will go towards him?
Yes, so Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. Right? You surrender unto me, no matter what kind of sinful reaction you have performed earlier. Now, with wholeheartedly, you surrender unto me, and I will remove all the sinful reaction. So do not worry, do not fear. So we just need to surrender to Krishna, and Krishna will take care of that. He can burn up all the sinful reaction. Krishna is like the big fire. And all this sinful reaction, mountains of sinful reaction, that's like the fuel put into that fire, and it can burn up. Krishna can remove all that sinful reaction. Only condition is no sinning more. Right? Prabhupada also says that in his purports, no more sinning. So in that way, then all the previous reactions will be removed if we surrender to Krishna now.
And Prabhuji, all this is larger part of, Leela. So it's not that, in one situation, right, that, some are bad and some are not, some are good. Is more part of a Leela wherein, this whole happens, right, for a reason.
So what are you trying to say? I'm not clear. So this is the whole part of Leela. So all those people really existed who demonstrated the good qualities and bad qualities, who demonstrated the path of following dharma or path of following adharma. So all those people really existed. And when we read about that, when we hear about this, it is for us to kind of analyze those qualities. What qualities Duryodhana represent? Well, what qualities or weaknesses Dhritrastra represent? Do we also carry those weaknesses or qualities? And Bhagavad Gita, and in that, to that fact, all the scriptures, they point out what we should do, what we should not do, right?
Yeah.
So that we don't have to meet these consequences.
Yeah.
True.
Prabhu, I was thinking, obviously there are two sides of it, and everyone has its own way of justifying it. And in your some lectures earlier, they like Swadharma and Sanatan Dharma. So when on the side of Duryodhana, people all are justifying their Swadharma. Whether Duryodhana himself is justifying that this kingdom is mine and they have no stake on it, or all the warriors that are on the side of Duryodhana, they are some form or the other, they are justifying the Swadharma. Whereas when we say the dharma on the side of Pandavas, they are establishing dharma for the better good of the society, for the better good of the world. So that's where we see that differentiation between the dharma and adharma, which actually is justification of the swadharma versus the dharma. The another way I was kind of thinking on is the question of why people are being like even just by dying in Kurukshetra, they are being sent to Swarga orbit, getting liberated. So the armies, even if the army is of Krishna's, Lord Krishna's army is fighting on the side of Duryodhana, they are more as a karmendriya, which are just doing what has been told to them. But so they are, even if they are fighting from the side of Duryodhana, that doesn't mean that they're fighting on the side of adharma, because they are just doing their work as it is being told to the karmendriyas. The other warriors who some form or the other they are fighting on the side of Duryodhana are more and justifying their own way of associating with the cause of Duryodhana is more like the Gyanendriya, where we can say with some form, some justification, some reasoning, the warriors are fighting. But when we see Krishna, the choice that Arjuna took as Lord Krishna, that you come on my side and be my guide, be my mentor, that is where, see, it's more like the choice of Arjuna was to get the intelligence. And that intelligence was way better than the one side of the army, which actually over the course of the Mahabharata we saw all that intelligence, all that guidance, all that mentorship that Lord Krishna provided to Arjuna really paid off way more than what army could have done it, which shows that the true mentor, the true intelligence is way more powerful than the Gyanendriya, the Karmendriya itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you have summarized nicely the overall image of this battlefield, who is representing what. And as we move forward into Bhagavad Gita, we'll understand or kind of uncover many of these things, right? It gives the analogy of this chariot, the body being as a chariot, and we being the driver on that chariot, and intelligence is the driver, right? So Krishna is here being the driver of Arjuna. It represents intelligence or providing intelligence to the driver, which is Arjuna. So in that way, it will kind of uncover many of these tattvic meanings.
One question I had, Prabhu, is so you mentioned that Karna did not wanted to fight under the leadership of Bhishma. Bhishma Dev, as the credit will go to the leader or so. How we have seen like whether it is in the is because of is that Bhishma Dev did not want Karna to fight till the time he'll be on the battlefield. Yeah.
So it's both ways there. Karna also did not want to fight under the leadership of Bhishma, so that the credit will go towards him. And Bhishma did not want Karna to fight against the Pandavas, because Bhishma already knew the reality about Karna, that he is also the son of Kunti, and he did not want the real brothers to fight, the sons of Kunti to be fighting against each other. Okay, so Bhishma knew that truth about Karna. So that's the reason Bhishma did not want him to fight.
Okay, so both ways, yes. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, so everybody, thank you very much for your participation and joining in today's Bhagavad Gita class. We'll see you all next week. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.